Colwins Corner by Andrea Carroll. I usually like to watch TV with my little sister Kimberly. She was 5, so we would always watch the cutesy cartoons. I didn't really mind though. They made her happy, and I enjoyed spending time with her. She would watch shows like Dora, Blue's Clues, and Arthur. We often had a lot of DVDs of old kids shows around the house that we would watch. There was a large box of old movies and TV shows in the attic. I took a brief look at it once, but none of them looked like they would appeal to her. One day, Kimberly was at a doctor's appointment, and I thought I would watch a movie and more towards my age range. So, I thought this would be a good time to look for that box of old movies in the attic. While I looked for the box, I noticed that these movies really didn't interest me. But I kept looking in hopes to find something. Then I saw at the bottom of the box a DVD labeled Colwins Corner. Many memories started to come back to me. I used to watch the show as a kid all the time. It was about an orange puppet named Colwyn who lived in a house on the corner of a street. He would often have his other puppet friends come over to play games and sing songs. It was cute and innocent. I remember really liking it as a kid, and I thought this would be a good show for me and my sister to watch. When Kimberly got home, I told her I got a new show for us to watch. She got excited and sat down on the couch while I put the disc in. I sat down next to her as the selection screen popped up. The screen looked just as I had remembered it. It showed Colwyn and his friends in the front of the house. I chose the first episode, and the theme song began. I was a little confused, however. The colors were a lot darker than I remember. The song was sung slower and in a lot deeper voice. I didn't think much of it, as I hadn't seen the show in a while and probably forgot some of the elements of it. The show began pretty normally. Colwyn was in his house and said hello to the viewers. There was a knock on his door, and he said,
"I think my friends are here."
When he opened the door, I felt my heart shoot up to my throat. Standing at the door were 2 tall white puppets with no nose or mouth, only pitch black eyes. I was shocked because I didn't even remember these characters on the show. Even the cover of the DVD showed 2 colorful, friendly puppets. I looked over at Kimberly and she had this big smile on her face. I was confused since an image like that would terrify a child. "I'm not sure if we should watch this anymore," I told her.
"No, please, keep it on!"
she exclaimed. I continued watching as the giant puppets didn't seem to faze her. The 2 large puppets came into the house. Colwyn asked,
"What do you guys want to do today?"
The one puppet replied with the most horrific sound I'd ever heard. It sounded like a man was shouting, almost screaming in a strange language. The audio was very distorted. At this point, I got up and ejected the disc from the VCR, much to Kimberly's disappointment.
"Why did you stop it? Put it back on!"
she said. I didn't listen and put the DVD in a drawer. Even though Kimberly wasn't bothered by the show, I still thought it was much too disturbing for a 5-year-old. I had trouble sleeping that night. I couldn't stop thinking about the video. I watched that show all the time when I was younger, and I've definitely seen every episode. I didn't understand why I didn't remember seeing an episode like this. I was still curious about the rest of the episode. I had decided to go downstairs and finish the episode. I took the disc out of the drawer and put it into the VCR. I plugged in my headphones so that way the noise wouldn't disturb my family. The episode began the same, with a strange intro and large puppets. After one puppet made the terrifying sound, Colwyn replied,
"You're right, we should play a game."
He then grabbed a knife off the counter. It cut to a live-action arm painted in orange to represent Colwyn's. The knife went up to the arm and started cutting slits, each one deeper than the last. Colwyn started to scream a blood-curdling scream. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I felt sick to my stomach. Blood gushed out of the wounds as the screams got louder and louder. It then cut to a live-action neck painted orange. The knife went up to the throat and cut a deep slit in it, and blood began to gush out. It showed Colwyn gasping heavily for air before his eyes turned completely white. The episode ended with him falling to the ground as the two tall white puppets looked directly into the camera with pitch black eyes. I was utterly terrified at this point. I immediately ejected the DVD and threw it in the trash. I couldn't sleep at all that night. I kept thinking about the episode. I got up the next morning and went downstairs to get some breakfast. I walked past Kimberly's room and saw that she wasn't there. When I got downstairs, I saw her on the couch finishing up the horrific episode I watched last night. I immediately grabbed the remote and turned the TV off.
Why did you do that?
She asked.
Where did you get the DVD? I shouted.
I found it in the garbage.
She replied.
I took it out because I wanted to finish the episode.
This show is very bad, I shouted.
No, it's not. They were just baking a cake.
She said. What? I uttered.
The episode was about Cole and his friends baking a cake.
She replied. I was shocked. What did his friends look like? I asked.
One was blue and one was red.
She replied.
I really liked it. Can I watch it again?